Welcome to the continuation of Workbench Wednesday. We did a live stream last night and we only went so far through it, and here is the continuation of it right now. This video is going to be a little bit longer than I normally do because I'm going to take you through every step of the way in the process of putting together Prater Paint so you know how to do it. So enjoy. Prater Paint. We started on this on the Workbench Wednesday live stream where we were able to unbox this, go through the instructions, and paint the corner pieces. We got them dried, and I did the first wall here. I installed the corner pieces on the first wall, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I did not trim these yet. I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to trim it once it's completely dry. But I'm going to walk you through how we're going to paint these. Not paint. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to install these. Now on here it has QR codes. This first one right here gives you an introductions on the overnighters, and this one down here tells you how to do the tar paper roofs. It's a good instructions on here. I used Rust-Oleum the camouflage khaki as a primer on these right here. I think I'm going to keep the windows and doors the khaki color. And I'm going to have to go over this and that later. On the instruction sheet, it has the corner posts on these side walls, 4 side walls, and the short side wall for the shed. But the only problem with that is on this area right here, you're butting up the side here with the shed for the sidewall. So this corner piece has to be shorter right there. So what we're going to do, instead of installing it on this one here, we're going to install it on this one right here, like so. That'll make it a lot easier to put all these pieces together. I'm going to show you how to install these on the short pieces. Since this one is so short, I'm going to trim this down a little bit. We're still going to leave it a little bit long, let it overhang, so we're just going to take the blade and trim it like that. We'll cut 2 of them like this. And this is a paint scraper. You can get these at Home Depot or Lowe's. I would suggest getting one where you can lock down the blade in there. I have another one here, a cheaper one, where you can't lock the blade in. I would not recommend getting this one here because you can see the blade moves on it. So get yourself one where the blade does not move. You can lock it down in there. It's easy to put a new blade in there. You just take this thing apart and install a new straight edge blade in there. But it's just $3 or $4 at Lowe's or Home Depot. But I use Aleene's tacky glue for this, and I put it on a piece of glass because it's easy cleanup. You can see that's the cleanup right there. And I use one of these. You can find these at Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. They usually have a little tip on the edge of it, but after I use it one time, the tip gets hard, and you just take the tip off of it, and you get yourself to where it's pointy. So you can apply the glue with it. I just put a little dab on the glass here, and we'll put it on the edge and smear it. And we'll try not to get it onto the painted surface. So we'll work from the back edge. And smooth it down some. And if it, just take your thumb and make sure there's none on the edge. And we'll take one of these short pieces here, like right there. It's going to be flush with this side. Just if you have a 1, 2, 3 block. Just push it up against there. Doesn't take very long. And we'll do the same thing on this side right here. And you can see you have a nice gluing surface on the back also. So we'll let those things dry and we'll go on to the next one. While the glue's setting up on all these corner pieces right here, we'll go on to the next step of painting this and this. I took this entire sheet and I painted it khaki. Now I'm going to remove this one here and paint this one a darker color, and then paint a little bit of white under the bottom of here. The top layer, this one right here, is with forest green, another camouflage paint, and that goes on top like that, on top of these. And this is going to be white right here to show through these two little panels right there. I'm taking a little bit of titanium white, the folk art, and I just shook it up and have a little bit in the lid right there. I got a real small brush. We're just going to look at this right here, and you can see right there in the door, it's white. So that's going to be this right here. So we're just going to put a little bit of white right here. That should cover it up. We're just going to test it real quick. I'm going to knock this one piece out of here. Trim this one out. And that one will fit right on top of this. So it'll look like that. So that'll work out pretty good. For the roof, I'm going to use Folk Art Mauve Dust. And we're just going to paint this. We'll just let that dry. And we'll apply that to the cardboard, and it's already got lines scribed on the cardboard, so that's a good way of aligning the tar paper pieces. Now we just have to clean our brush. I cut out the two pieces for the roof, and we're gonna paint the underside and the edges with the same color. And you want to make sure you get this part right here too, because that's the part you're going to see. That's going to be visible. The two pieces that go on the roof, they go on either side of this piece right here after the tar paper goes on. I did with our favorite color, khaki again, the camouflage khaki. I cut out the pieces for the signs, but you can see where the little tab was that I had to cut out. It left it's a little bit lighter. I'm going to leave this the same color, but I'm going to go over it with a little bit of black. On the edge. We're going to match up the burn mark from the laser. That's the only part right there that I'm going to paint. And this is Folk Art Pure Black. Available at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Your favorite craft store. Well, this one piece right here that fits in the slot of the front where I painted the edge black, I'm going to have to go over this with one of the other colors. I'm going to do it this color right here, the dark green camouflage. On the piece of sidewalk right there, I went over it with country gray with a stiff brush. This right here. Now that we have everything painted, we're going to start assembling. We'll start off with the easiest part of the assembly, which is the storefront, since it is peel and stick. So this is the back part. And we'll put the glass on last. But we just have to take the backing off of this. You have to align the panes of the glass because they're not exactly true to the width and the height. So we're going to go by the scribe lines on it and the window panes and get it close as we can, and before pressing down on it, we'll move it to the side so it lines up. So there's two pieces. Now you see why I painted the different pieces different colors and put the white in the one part of the center on the kick plates of the door. And looking back at this, it might have been easier to put the top two pieces together before I put it on the back one. So because the top two pieces are the same dimensions, top and side, vertical and horizontal. So there we go, right there. Now this part here where you see the white on the bottom, you're not going to be able to see that because that goes behind here. So this fits in here like this. So all we have to do is put the glass in there. And normally, in most kits, the glass is pre-cut. On this one, it's not. So we're just going to measure a little bit larger than where the window and the door opening is and cut it. And we'll put the T-square on the edge. And line this up on the squares. I'll put it right here. Alright. So this is peel and stick also, so we'll just take this and peel this away, and we'll leave a little bit of it on the bottom so we don't stick it to our finger while we're applying the glass to it. Just bring it down here, fold it over. And you see I left the paper on the back of the glass, so we'll just press it down on there. And what I'll do, I'll leave this on here so it doesn't get, so we don't stick to our fingers while we're installing it. We'll just cut it right underneath where the glass is. And there you go, there's the storefront right there with the glass. There are two different ways that you could do the other windows. You could actually just attach the window to the back like this, which makes it much more easier. So you got you got 4 windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a door right here, which we might do it that way just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves, so we don't have to cut exactly along these lines right here. One easy way to apply styrene windows to any dissimilar product. This is MDF board. I've never done it on this before, but I just tried it up here and it works. Is to melt the styrene. So you just put it on the edges, and this will bond, actually melt the styrene, so it'll affix itself to the MDF board. That's that one method there. The other method is with glue, and it's a little messier, but you could do it, but I'm not going to do it on here because this is working so well. I used masking tape to attach the acetate to the back of the MDF panel. I tried the plastic cement, this one right here, but it did not work on it like it did on the windows, on the window panes. But I put it down lower to give it the effect of blinds. So you can use any color masking tape you want. You can use painter's tape, electrical tape, anything to attach it. But here's what it looks like right there. And I did the door a little bit different, and if you would like to do like I did the door, all I did was I put the acetate in the opening and then cut it like that, and then placed it on the door, and then used the plastic cement to attach it. Now, it doesn't work on the acetate, but it works on the polystyrene. So it melts the polystyrene to the acetate. So you get the same effect right there as this. We got blinds on all the windows. So the next thing we're going to do is the shingles. Now, I painted this earlier, a few hours ago. Since we did the earlier taping, we went out shopping, and then we went out, then we watched maybe 3 episodes of Blacklist, because they gave you 12 rows of this, and there's 12 rows up here. So we're going to have to stretch it a bit to get to the shed. Before you get too far with putting in all the rows of tar paper, turn it over and trim it. Put your spare pieces over there for later use, for like patches or whatever you might need. Here is the part where we do the signs. Okay, that's that one, and we're going to need one of these smaller ones on the front. So, and we'll just glue these. We're going to use Elmer's glue on this one here, because it's a little bit thinner than Aleene's tacky glue. I like to put the signage on with Elmer's. On these signs, I would normally put the glue directly on the paper, but since this is L-shaped, it's going to be kind of difficult. You might bend it, distort it, and even break it. Doesn't take a lot. We just make sure that it's on the full surface. Try to get any excess off. And wipe your finger off first. And then align it. I'll bring it over here to align it. And you'll have time, as long as you don't press down hard, to maneuver it around. We'll let that dry, and then we'll do the other side. But just wanted to show you this first side here. What we'll do on this one here, we'll just apply it to the back and put it on this. This is how it fits right on here, like this one. And this is a very old Elmer's glue thing. I just use it over and over again. I have a big gallon jug that I fill this thing up with, and so this edge on here is really bad. So we'll just run it off to the edges. Make sure we get it off our fingers so we're not gluing our fingers here. Now we're going to do the trim pieces for the large sign, and you'll notice there's a little piece right there. We're going to have to keep that there because that holds everything together, but this is peel and stick, so we have to be very, very careful with this because of the size or the lack of size of this detail. So we just carefully peel the back off. Unless you try to move it and move it around and get the adhesive unsticky. Is that a word, unsticky? On this step, we'll use our favorite window scraper. And all we need to do is come over to the edge, make sure we got it square with the top or bottom by placing it along the edge and pivot it down on there. And this is a little bit different than a conventional corner piece because this is like a figure 8, or it's an offset piece, so when you cut it, it's gonna break it into two little pieces. Now that we have everything ready, it's time to assemble the whole building together. We're going to add a little bit of glue to the edges of this, the storefront assembly, on all four sides, just sparingly. Okay, and the layered pieces fit in there just nicely into the slot. And just flip it over and make sure that there's no glue showing. We'll put pressure on it. And let that set for just a few seconds. Before doing any wall sections, make sure you got some squares out available, and make sure that you sand down the tops and bottoms of the corner pieces. Make sure that they're flush with the top and bottom, so there's no problem with that. We'll set some glue down and get started with this. We're going to put the glue on the corner piece. Okay, so this is the front where the door is, so we'll just stick it in the crease of the corner. You'll make sure you got more on the back end of it than on the front end, because you don't want it sticking out you don't want it escaping out the front, because you're going to have to wipe it down if you do. So just put it in here like this. And do the same thing, just put it in the crease of the corner section. And you just let them dry, and then once this is dry, we'll add this one section to the other section that we just did. Weather the roof section, because we have to sandwich the roof in between these two pieces right here. So we're going to weather it before we put it in before we sandwich it. I'm using these weathering powders. This is black soot, and we'll just go along the lines. I already did about 3 of them. That's all right. You can just rub it in with your fingers. Now, the final touch is titanium white. We're going to brush that on, dry brush that on. And you don't want to have too much on the brush. Let's see. There we go. And that's enough right there. So we're going to put a little bit of glue right here. And I'm just going to put this right up on top of it, like so. And the other one, okay, it's sloping this way. So this is the front. So it's going to go on there like that. Before installing the top piece on the roof, you'll want to measure it with the sign. That little groove in there is not large enough, so you might have to shave down both edges so the outside edge of the top of the roof will be flush with the edges of the roof. So keep that in mind when you're putting this together. I attached the sign to the overhang and then glued the overhang into the slot right above the storefront. And now the last step of assembling this is to attach the shed. And so we're going to put a little bit of glue right here and right there. And we'll just assemble these two pieces. And we'll pivot it on there, like so. And we'll just hold this in place. I finished off the crates with a little bit of honey brown right there, and a little bit more of chalk, and added a little bit of titanium white to the sidewalk. I'm leaving the top roof loose. One thing that I noticed, it may be easier to install the sign before you put the top piece on. Stay tuned for more structure builds on this channel. And don't forget Workbench Wednesday, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on Rumble and YouTube. So until the next time, we'll see you and have fun with whatever you're doing.